And what is up everyone, welcome back to another one on the A-Team channel. So as some of you may well be aware, the 2020 results are all out now, and it turns out that overall 2020 results broke all unprecedented records, as in there has never been a better year of results than that compared to 2020. We're strictly speaking about the new reformed GCSEs and A-Levels and not the old ones, of course, because I didn't delve that far back. But seriously, if this was any other year other than a COVID one, then OFQUAL would have been asking about what you lot were smoking back then. So on that basis, I'm sure many of you out there are thinking whether the results for this year will be as high for 2020 as they were for last year. By having inflated grades and more people doing well, is that a good thing overall? Let me pass that over to you guys. Do you even think that the same pattern should occur again in 2021? Seriously, have a think about that for a second. By making grading easier, is that a good thing overall? I'm sure all of you have something to say about that, so go right ahead and drop your comments below and share your thoughts on this one. Do you think you'll end up with the grades that you deserve from this? If not, why do you think that? Because grades did go up considerably last year, and OFQUAL are very aware of that. Maybe that's the reason they initially disputed Gavin Williamson's call on CAGs. Do you reckon they will factor that in for this year again? Seriously guys, feel free to express your thoughts down below. Also, I wanted to add, and let's also not forget that not only did you lose a substantial amount of your education last year, but you guys also lost another significant proportion for this year as well. Would that get factored into all of this grading? See, look, I'm just trying to look out for you guys. And in that case, shouldn't grades therefore be even better for 2021 compared to 2020?
Bring the action.
All right, let's get the party started right now.
So firstly, unless you've been living under a rock or jetted off to Mars in one of Elon Musk's SpaceX ventures, then you should all be aware that exams in 2020 were cancelled. And this is when the whole Center Assessed Grade CAG system was first introduced. However, unlike this year, exams in 2020 were cancelled, well, back in March. And then almost a month later, OFQUAL announced that CAGs would proceed. And this, as you all know, created a wide array of issues and outright chaos, leading to the hotly detested algorithm that was introduced and then later scrapped. As an examiner here, we were amongst the very few private exam centers in the UK that provided CAGs for our students. And let me tell you straight up, that was no easy task, and in all honesty, it was a very daunting one. Luckily, things worked out really well for us as we somewhat got a good historical record, and we also followed things very meticulously using a very diligent assessing process. And in the end, our students ended up with 27 A stars and 23 A's at A-Levels, with 17 of our students going on to study medicine and dentistry at universities across the UK. And this is what we're having to undergo again this year. And thankfully, look, we've learned a lot from last year's process, so we are already equipped for this. And anything that OFQUAL decide to throw our way, we should be able to integrate that into our already devised system. So let's talk a little bit about the summer 2020 results. Firstly, starting off with A-Levels, even though there was a drop in number of people being entered for A-Levels in 2020, this has actually got nothing to do with COVID. That trend has been an ongoing thing since the introduction of the new A-Level system, and that's because of the push towards BTEC and vocational courses. But look, regardless of that, grades in virtually every subject increased at all grade thresholds. For instance, if you look at some of the most popular A-Levels like A-Level Maths, Biology or Chemistry, if you were to compare the stats to 2019, you will find that there were substantial gains, and in some cases almost close to double, like Chemistry and Biology grade A stars. This pattern pretty much reflected across all subjects, each subject of course differing slightly, so it's difficult to break down the justifications for all of this. But overall, there were 27.6% of students getting grades A stars and A's at A-Levels in 2020 compared to 25.2% the year before. Now, when you hear that figure, you may not sound like a lot, you know, a rise of 2.4%, but that approximately equates to 17,232 students getting more grade A's and A stars in 2020 compared to 2019. When it comes to GCSEs, a similar pattern also follows. Proportion of students getting grade 7s or above in England rose by 5.7% compared to 2019. Proportion of grade 4s or above also rose by 8.9%. Grade 5s also rose up as well. Grade 9s went up from 4.7% to 6.6%, a jump of 1.9%. So it really is fair to say that OFQUAL did live up to their word with regards to being generous for this particular exam series. This also fluctuated into the October-November 2020 series, because when you look at the autumn 2020 series, the number of entries in autumn were significantly a lot fewer than summer. That's expected, right? But this year it really was far less than actual expected numbers. For example, typically in the summer you can expect around 3.7 million entries for exams, whereas in autumn of 2020 there was a whopping 15,000 entries. And let me tell you right now that having witnessed this exam series on a personal level, at least half of those students entered didn't even turn up for the exams. It really was a tough exam series to manage. But for those that did, the odds were stacked up in their favor. 50% of students managed to improve on the grade given to them from the CAGs. That's quite impressive when you think about the time frame that they had from results day, peeling, and then having to sit their exams in October or November. Also, across all subjects, fewer marks were needed for each grade threshold, and this reflected across the differing exam board. The overall outcomes published by JCQ show relatively high achievement at the top grades. Over a third of entrants achieved grade 7 and above, and just over 15% achieved grade 9s. So overall, to conclude, it is very apparent that with the kind of year we had in 2020, the exam boards and OFQUAL made considerations, and it has worked out in the favor of students overall. We of course have the 2021 exams here in the UK, which have also gone ahead and been cancelled similar to last year. Now, it's already been stated that this year will also follow the CAG program, but with certain adjustments being made. Do you guys think the pattern should follow the same as last year with the generous marking and the setting of grade boundaries, or do you think you guys were affected even more so compared to last year because of the time out from education? So it should be a lot more lenient. Do share your comments down below, and let's see what the vast majority of you think should happen before the announcement is made. Also guys, if you found this video to be informative in some way, then do give this one a thumbs up, and also get subscribed to stay updated on the latest news on exams. We are a week away from the OFQUAL announcement, which of course I will be updating you all on, so do consider subscribing for that. On that note guys, my name is Amin, and I will catch up with you another time.